What is good, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Creativity with Purpose, where we create with purpose on purpose. My name is Belani Mdaga, and I'm so glad to have you here. I want to start this series on my channel that is similar to one I already have, which is Dear Diary Sessions. But I think in this one, I want it to be really, just me sharing like some thoughts that run through my mind throughout my days. And I wanted to introduce this because I think I have such conversations with people all the time, and I think it's such profound prompts that I think you yourself can ask yourself in your own time. It's things that I often ponder upon, it's things that I often contemplate. And today's topic is desire, and not just any desire, but unhealthy desire, ravenous desire. And this is the kind of desire that blinds you. This is the kind of desire that makes you destroy yourself. And this is the kind of desire that makes you betray yourself. There's one of my favorite quotes by one of my favorite writers, and that's Fyodor Dostoevsky. And he basically says something along the lines of, your greatest sin is that you have betrayed and destroyed yourself for nothing. And I love that so much because I think it speaks a lot to the human condition. I think it speaks to a lot to where a lot of people are, and a lot of people are not aware that they are in this place where they've become so blinded. I think even when we go back to the beginning of time, and how man fell, you see that it was desire, that seed of desire that was first planted and became something so ravenous and destroying. And I think more than anything, I just feel that it's important for us to ask ourselves the desires that we have, where they stem from. It's important to ask ourselves, have you let your desire, have you let desire control you? Is desire what controls your life? Is desire what drives the decisions that you make? And I feel like there are different types of desire, but what I want to talk about today is ravenous desire, the negative desire, a bad desire that is conceited and that does not only betray you as a person, but it causes you to betray others. And I think for a big part of my life, I betrayed myself and others in this way as well. It's the detrimental effects of desire that is not put under God's control, desire that has not been submitted, desire that has not been submitted in order to be changed and transformed. And when we look around ourselves, as I said, when we look at our countries, when we look at the state of where things are, it's just a continuous desire for power, a desire for control, a desire for riches, a desire for wealth. Despite how those things are attained, despite how you achieve those positions, it's that desire where it blinds one from even seeing the impact that it's having on close communities and even the larger communities. And I think it's so important for us to step up to that place of being people who understand that we need divine help from God, because I think that, in as much as we have the desire, some of us may have the desire to be good people, there's only so much that we can achieve in our own limited power, because there are other influences that are around that have an impact on, the world and how everything works, because there are agendas that are being pushed, there are influences, for example, social media. There's only so much that is filtered on there. And so when we keep consuming these things without taking a step back and asking ourselves why we desire the things that we desire, why we think the way that we do, why we say we hold the values that we hold and the ethics that we believe that we hold, we need to understand that those things, if we don't take a step back to ask ourselves these important questions, they will control us. You don't see that the destruction that you are inflicting upon yourself is destroying those around you. You don't see that the betrayal that you're inflicting upon yourself is betraying those around you. And so I just think and I talk about desire in a broad way because there's so many aspects to it, but that's why I made an example with, in the very beginning, the fall of man. It was due to the desire for more, even despite having provision, even despite having just what they needed. The desire for wanting to understand what is on the other side, for wanting to understand what is the more that I cannot have, So I think, I like to ask these questions and ponder upon these things. How many times have I said ponder? Anyways, I like to ask these questions because a lot of people do things without understanding why they do them. They hold these ideals without knowing why they hold them. And it's simply because that's what the world has told them. They've been conditioned to go with the flow of the world. And we don't realize, and we tend to forget, that the world's standards are continuously changing. But there's one specific standard that never changes, and that's the standard of God. And when you live your life according to that standard, you basically are going against you're not conforming, you are being transformed in a way that is supernatural, in a way that is divine. And whatever the world says to you, whatever the world thinks of you, they can't decide for you because you've decided for yourself. And I think a lot of people feel like they can be on the fence about certain things, or they can be neutral. And you can't be neutral in life, because when you don't make a decision, the decision is already being made for you. So you either choose this side or you choose that side. And I think it's so liberating to live your life in accordance to God's standard, because His standard is unchangeable. And so I always pray this, I not always, but I often pray the prayer of, Lord, sanctify my ambitions, sanctify my desires, give me pure ambitions, and I say that because I recognize my weakness as a human. I recognize my limit as a human, in as much as I can have good thoughts maybe, or have good desires. But the thing about deception is, you don't know that you're being deceived until you're out of deception. And so when you submit that under God, you're able to continuously be transformed and renewed, and your eyes are able to, it's almost like scales fall away constantly. And you always have that teachable spirit, because you understand that you have a limit, and you never feel like you have to conform to the standards of this world, because you understand that those are destroying. So ask yourself, make it a habit to ask yourself those important questions. Don't just live life as a robot. Don't just be a suitcase where the world throws their baggage in, where you just take it all in and you don't even ask yourself if these things are true. You don't ask yourself if these things are a reflection of where you're trying to be, or who you're trying to be, or who you've been called to be. And so I think, especially for young people in this day and age of social media, it's so easy to base your opinions and the way that you live off of, opinions of people online and ideals of people online. You don't know what happens when those people switch off those cameras. And so don't live a life that is on, constant flight mode, where you're just not aware of what is happening around you, or why those things are happening. Be courageous enough to ask. Be courageous enough to not conform. Be courageous enough to live authentically. Be courageous enough to, to just say no to the world's standards. Be courageous enough to not allow the world to form who you are or tell you who you are. Make that decision. But yeah, those are all my thoughts for today. I hope this video kind of makes sense in some kind of way. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you happen to enjoy it, you already know what to do. Don't forget to like, comment, share, as well as subscribe and turn on those notification bells so that you're notified each and every single time that I upload this a video. And please let me know down below if you enjoy this series. There's no particular name for it. It's just me sharing my thoughts, to be quite honest. Kind of like the Dear Diary sessions, but more of like just me yapping about maybe whatever topic it is that I have for that day. But yeah, guys, until next time, God willingly, it's a goodbye from me.